Whether you're looking to invest in a future masterpiece or just doing some window shopping, this is the place to come. The FIAC is Paris's contemporary and modern art market, and with over 190 galleries represented and the work of thousands of artists, there's plenty to choose from. Welcome to this special edition of Encore from the FIAC Art Fair. Joining me now in the Grand Palais is Simon Wang from Antenna Space Gallery. Hi, Simon.
Hi.
Normally you're based in Shanghai, but you've brought your artists' work here to Paris, to the FIAC. With all the different art fairs around the world, why is it important to be represented here?
Working in the arts business for so long, I have always come to FIAC to visit in the past years. And so this year, I'm just really honored to show my own artists in this fair.
And with so many different international art fairs around the world, what's the defining characteristic of the FIAC?
FIAC has not been the biggest fair in the world, but it has always got like special characters in it. The selection of galleries, the selection of artists, and also in the fair in relation of the city, Paris, has been so important in art history. And so including all these reasons, I'm very, very happy to be here.
And at a time when you can buy and sell artwork online, you can pick up the phone and speak to your gallerist, why is the physical presence here, seeing the work in real life, so important?
I think that artworks that show in social media or internet, that you can get something of what it is, but you can never get all of it. And then that's why it's so important to come to see and view the arts in person. And also it's very important for art galleries to build a relationship with the collectors in person as well.
Okay, so among the artists you represent and the pieces you're showing, which ones are you most excited about, which should be getting some attention?
I'm excited about all my artists showing here, but one particular artist whose name is Chen Xingyi, she was born in Beijing, Chinese national, but she has been living in Paris for a year. And so she has been practicing in Paris. She has all her artist friends in Paris, and she's getting a lot of institutional attention as well. So I would say, yeah, that's the most exciting artist I have here. Yeah.
Well, as the fair gets underway, we spoke to some of the people buying, selling, or just looking around here at the Grand Palais to see what brought them here to the fair.
There's a Philip Guston at Helzer Gallery, which is absolutely beautiful, and it's very rare to see Philip Guston shown in an event like this. I'm very, very honoured in the outdoor program that Thomas Schutter has entrusted us with the first exhibition of his new sculpture.
I haven't seen it yet, but I think there's a Banksy. I'd like to get myself a Banksy if I can, yeah.
Basquiat was the first choice, and that we saw already from the beginning, and the rest was also good. So
yeah. Adrian Kenny, 2 paintings, unfortunately already gone.
Everything is sold out.
It's really different seeing the artwork here in situ. When you look at them up close, you see their dimensions, you can appreciate the effects they have on you.
Simon, you represent a lot of international talent, but also a lot of young Chinese artists. What would you say defines the work coming out of China right now?
The arts scene in China is processing with the identity time. There are more and more artists, young artists in China that they can just be international or global. That's what they are practicing with, and then what they are outsourcing with this globalization timing. So it's really important to be growing with these artists to capture this time with them. I think that's the most essential time, and the important reasons to work with them right now.
And do you see any specific trends, the use of certain media or genres?
We love working with artists that focusing strongly on human empathy, that we generally don't care that much about the rang. because regardless it is painting, sculptures, or video art, which we have a lot of the different type of artists, that mostly we focus on what they can bring, with the works, but not like the formality.
And moving to the commercial side of things, revenues in the Chinese art market have been very strong. Some estimate it to be second only to the American market. Why do you think business is so good in Shanghai right now?
Chinese economy has been growing for in the past few years, although it has slowed down recently. But still, people are starting to get to know contemporary art, and there are so many new museums open in Shanghai and Beijing, regardless private or state-owned, that I think young generation are also pursuing, the sense of art and to learn more about art after all those years of, growth of economy. Yeah.
Well, when it comes to making that all-important purchase, some people are looking for beauty, others are looking for intellectual stimulation, but of course some are looking to make a sound investment. The contemporary art market is increasingly being compared to the stock market, with all the potential pitfalls of speculation. Claire Rush has this report.
This Banksy piece self-destructed mere seconds after being bought at auction. A prank that initially worried auction bidders, but experts say the move has nearly doubled the piece's value, even in shreds. The factors that determine the value of contemporary artists is complex.
Many contemporary artists use social media, and they have thousands, if not millions, of followers. In a way, these followers decide which artists receive the most recognition.
To succeed, contemporary artists must have unique styles that are immediately recognizable. They must be well represented at art shows, and especially at auction houses, where an artist's value is often determined. In 2017, this Basquiat was bought for $110 million, while Jeff Koons' Balloon Dog earned $58 million, making it the most expensive piece of a living artist ever bought. This abstract Richter painting was bought for $46 million.
The number of wealthy people is growing in places like India, China, and South America. Everyone wants to have a Banksy piece. It's simply supply and demand. There are so many people who want to buy his pieces, so the prices jump exponentially.
But prices can also artificially rise due to fake auction bidders. Inflation that Banksy has paradoxically increased through his own denunciation and rejection of the contemporary art market.
Simon, we've seen prices across the global art market skyrocket in recent years. What do you think really makes an artwork become so much more valuable?
The artwork always have these intangible values. It depends on, how much it grows or how much more it can grow. Depends on both the intangible value, which is the art value, and also the economic financial value. I think as an artist, take many years as accumulation, and then do good exhibitions, good quality of exhibitions, and in the end, the value will grow very, very high. To rush to a short-term fast value, it's not a good choice.
Simon Wang, thank you very much for your insight.
Thank you.
Well, in addition to the sort of pieces that you can take home, the FIAC is also offering some more ephemeral work in the form of a series of performance art. The Parade for FIAC program brings these events to the streets of the city. If you're walking around Paris, you might chance upon one of these spontaneous art happenings. Our reporters went to check out the work of Brazilian artist Paulo Nazareth, who staged his piece in the Tuileries Gardens near the Louvre.
The heady sound of manual coffee grinders and the intoxicating scent of ground coffee beans whirling in the wind. Windmill by Brazilian artist Paulo Nazareth explores the relationship between immigration and labour.
The coffee grinders are like the moving engines of the world. They're a symbol of the work of millions of men and women who built the world that we live in today. They're also a reference to slaves and forced labor in general.
13 men and women marching along to the beat of time, moving backwards and forwards, slowly or quickly. Their movements are a metaphor for social alienation in today's modern world. All participants are members of Artists in Exile, an association that brings together musicians, dancers and actors who fled violence in their countries. Congolese film director Kalonji Bikai is one of them. He was arrested and tortured in DR Congo, but managed to escape. He arrived in France earlier this year.
Each and every one of us is able to relate to their own experience. Through this performance, we tell our own story, the story of our ancestors and the world we live in.
Through coffee, a commodity traded for centuries by colonial powers using slave labour, Paulo Nazareth links past and present. His work is a reminder of the struggle of immigrants in a globalised world.
That's all for this show. Do remember to check in with us on our website, and you can follow Encore on our social media channels too. We'll leave you with a whistle-stop tour of the highlights of the FIAC, which is running until October 21st. Do stay with us here on France 24. There's more news coming up in just a moment.